So, Jesse, how can we walk in these open heavens, in this stuff, despite everything around us kind of getting crazy, because it really does feel a bit like, because you're not the only person I've heard say something similar to this. And again, that's just confirmation to like, hey, take heed. Take heed to what the Lord is saying. But it does feel a bit like, like a land of Goshen kind of thing with the Israelites in Egypt, and the plagues are following them. It does feel like there's this other thing that we can grab a hold of, even though around us, like Psalm 91 says, 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. How can we grab a hold of this during this time?
Man, what I'm going to say is get in the flow. Get in the flow, get in the vein of what it is God is doing. Get in prayer and start basking in the Lord's presence. There is a prophetic vein right now, and so much is being released. And it's so very important that we posture ourselves to hear the still small voice. Elijah ran to the cave, a place where he had history with God, to hear the still small voice. And the witchcraft was so bad, he wrapped his face in his mantle, and he was postured in a way to hear the still small voice. It's so important that we hear God's voice. And it's through hearing God's voice for ourselves, we receive confirmation to the word of the Lord that's going forth. God designed to speak to all. And I would say, what is the key to walking and living under an open heaven? I would say the most important thing is prayer. The most important thing for us to do is to pray. And not just to pray for America, not just to pray for others, but to posture ourselves in a place where we minister to the Lord and allow the Lord to minister to us. And that is the priestly anointing, where we minister to the Lord and worship and praise and thanksgiving, and we allow the Lord to minister to us as we sow seeds of prayer into the heavenlies. There is a release upon us of his presence. The Lord's really been speaking to me about the still small voice.
Okay.
And I've been teaching on many different keys of how to hear God's voice in your life. And that is, so important. There's many ways God speaks. God can speak through dreams. God can speak through visions. Many are already hearing God's voice, but they need to slow down and recognize how it is he's speaking to them. And that is also an ear that has to be developed. And we are brought into these places with the Lord of maturity, where we're hearing the Lord speak, but there's more depth to it. And that comes through walking with the Lord and and allowing time for him to speak to you.